Yes, welcome to this section of the video. So in this video, we are going to look at adding utilities files that will be used throughout the application, and also our message dialog. So when there's an error or when there's a success response, we are going to show them in dialog, letting users know what happened, right? So let's get to it. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to go to my shared directory, because this is mostly where I put all my stuffs, right? But before that, I need to add the colors to my styles. Okay, so we need to add the default colors that we need to use for this app. Okay, so it will come here inside styles and create a styles.dat colors.dat, sorry, and it brings up this guy. So I will paste the colors that is needed. So we have the primary color, which is a purple color. We have black, we have white, we have gray. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is to add the utils, more like a dialogue, so we can show message effectively, right? So if you noticed, if you look at our prospect.yml file, you'll notice that we have this package called quick alert. So this quick alert is going to help us to show those messages, right? But sometimes how I do mine is that I don't just be calling quick alerts everywhere in my app. I like to create a shared file, right? And I can now put the quick alert method there, right? And that way I can customize it the way I want, and once I do that, it's going to reflect anywhere in the app that is calling it. Yeah, I think that has been working for me, and you should try it. It's really amazing. So I will go under my shared directory, and inside here I'm going to create a new folder, and I will call it message dialog, a new file, sorry. And inside here I'm going to create this guy. Make sure you import the library, the different missing stuffs. So all these ones are coming from quick alerts as well. So you can see here now, this was not part of this method. We just have void show message. We have build context because it's needed, because we are calling it outside where there is context. So we have our message, we have its error, whether to show it as an error or not. So if it's error, we are going to set it as true by default. So whenever we want to call it for success response, we are going to change that type to true, to false. Okay, then we have a void callback as well. This happens when the user taps on OK, right? We can just trigger something or do anything. So I'm going to import this primary color. Remember, we already added it here. Okay, and so here now we have the test message, we have the on button confirm tap, right? We are calling this callback, and we have is error, we return oops, else we can just return null, or if you can just go ahead and say success. Okay, yeah, something like this. Okay, yeah, it still works. All right, then you can also decide to check if it's error, return quick type.error, else return success. And here now you can see this type is actually a quick type, right? So but we can actually make this thing looks good. So instead of having error, success, and every other thing, you can also decide to add, maybe send this quick type directly into this stuff instead of creating its error, right? You can just, but the reason why I did it that way is because I'm using only two types, error and success, because if you notice, quick type has a lot. It has custom info, loading, success, warning. So just to fit your use case, you can just figure out what you need to do there. All right, so that's pretty much it for this show message. So the next one now we are going to be looking at now is our enums and app logger, and that will be under our configuration file. So normally I like creating a logger, right? Because that way I can customize it to add emojis later on while the project is going on, right? But a simple one is just to check if we are not in debug mode, right? Then go ahead and print your stuff. You can use a log, you can use anything, but most times I pass parameters here to just say is error, is success, is if it's success or info, then I can just return an emoji, right, alongside the image, because as it is you can return emojis, right? Emojis can also be replaced here, so to just make it cool, right? So yeah, I'll leave it that way. And then the next thing we are going to do now is the enums. So we have the enums, right? So one thing you need to know about Firebase is that when you're working with Firebase returns a feature, right? When you're making requests to the database to get something or you're uploading, it's a feature. And that way you don't need to like make the UI just hang and just frozen, right? You need to show some kind of delay, telling users that, okay, something is going on, please wait, you know, there's a loader, something like that. So I have my enums here, and the enums have 4 values. We have idle, that means nothing is happening. We have success, that is after the request has been made and then there's a success response. We have error, when there's an error. We also have busy, right? When it's loading, the request is still going on, okay? So that's the 4 that I normally use. And another one again is I create enums. I create extensions, okay? Extensions are just like some utils that make my work easier, right? So I don't need to be creating some utils files for something that can be converted into an enum, okay? So I have my ellipses, right? This is helping me to convert my files. Like if it's too long, if it's greater than 14, I'm going to add some ellipses to it, like these 3 dots, okay? You can see the method here, I'm just checking. But else, if it's not less than 14 or if it's equal to 14, I will just go ahead and return the string incomplete, in full, right? And here, I'm not using screen utils, right, to handle responsiveness. So I'm only using this extension. So I created this one. And this is a size box, right? It's a widget that we can put in any int value that is in our UI. Okay, you're going to see how I use this later on in the project. We can use it to set height, we can use it to set width, and any other thing, right? Yeah, awesome. So the next one now is I create my shared preference keys. I create routers, but for now we have not started integrating with Go router, right? But I normally create my router, okay? But to make it easier, I come here inside my config and I create a routers.dat, okay? Because if you notice, I'm using Go router in this project, okay, for navigation, okay? So right here, I'm just going to create a router variable, right? Like so, and we'll name it Go router. Okay, and we have our routes. Okay, so the initial route is just going to be like it's just going to be like the first screen, which I will make use as the splash screen. Okay, so but for now let's just leave it like this. Okay, so nothing much, but just know that this is your router, and then you can go to your need to set this up. You will go to your main.dat file, right? Once you get that, we are going to change this guy, so it's no longer going to be as it is here, right? So we are now going to change it to something else. So here it's actually returning a material app, which is not supposed to be the case, right? So we need to have return material app.router, right? So inside this router we can now have our router config, okay? And here we can now set the router, okay, that we created. So make sure you import it, make sure the name matches what you already have here, okay, router. Then we can now import it into this file. Cool. Something is missing. All right, something is missing. Undefined name router, but it was created, right? It was created. So okay, yeah, it's okay now. Cool. So this is pretty much everything that we needed in this section. So in the next section we are going to be working on some amazing things, and that is like setting the team data, adding assets, and also adding our splash screen, and then making everything looks good. So from there we can start the main UI implementations and every other logic. Okay, thank you so much guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.